What we're dealing with here is a total lack of respect for the law.
Welcome to another episode of the 6gc.net podcast. I'm your host, Manny, aka Pressure 2.
What's up?
And here's my co-host.
This is Dustin, Batman722 on the board. We're here to talk a little Celica talk, and actually we have a special guest again on
Very
tonight.
special guest, our first international guest.
International.
He's from New Zealand. His name is Rusty. You guys know him as a moderator on 6gc.net. And we're going to dial him up and see what he has to say about Celicas and some of the differences between the SS2, SS3, GT4, and all kinds of European
And the Bruins
stuff
just
that's going on.
scored.
And Bruins score. Beautiful,
Fuck
baby.
yeah, this is good. Okay, so anyway, we got Rusty coming on. I'm going to give him a call right now.
Yeah, Dustin, this is awesome.
This is going to be Tango-rific. And I want to...
Yes.
Hello.
Rusty,
Hey, how's it going?
how you doing, pal?
Good.
All right, Mr. Rusty, how you doing?
Good, right.
All right.
What are we going to talk about today?
We're going to talk about a few things. First, I want to welcome you onto the 6gc.net podcast. You with Manny and Dustin, Pressure 2, and Batman722. And we're here to talk
Cool,
some
thanks
Celica
for
stuff.
having me.
Hey, so listen, let's jump right in. Tell us a little bit about your Celica and what year is it, what you got done to it, and
Where you from?
where you're from and stuff.
Right, so my name's Russell. I'm from New Zealand. I've got a 96 SS2 ST202 celica. That's how you pronounce it over here.
Celica.
I'm sorry to
Basically,
hear
the
that.
engine itself is stock. It's just got heaps of bolt-on parts like the HKS exhaust, cold airbox, and just a few sort of TRD items like the leads and stuff like that.
Okay.
Cool.
How do you like your Celica? Or your, I'm sorry, how do you like your
Pretty
Celica?
good.
Good?
Yeah, it's real nice handling and stuff when going through the hills around here. Just sort of seems to have infinite grip.
Cool. So, listen, Rusty, one of the reasons why I wanted to have you on is because you're really knowledgeable as far as the differences between the SS2, the SS3, the GT4. So, if you don't mind, give us a little bit of your insight as far as what are the differences between the SS2 and SS3 to start off with.
Well, the main thing you've got there is the SS2 is like was like the base sort of modelled at a higher spec than the SS1, and that sort of that's like your main sort of model that came out with the 3SGE. Still had the McPherson strut suspension.
Yeah.
But like in sort of the 94, 95 sort of era, they had the like the special SS2, and that came with the super strut and the E series gearbox. Like plus other couple of things, and when they did the 96 facelift, which is like the first one we had, they sort of stopped the SS2 super strut and brought out a new trim level, which was the SS3.
Yep.
And then that one had the same engine, the same third gen 3SGE, and that came with super strut and the S54 gearbox, which is the same as your guys' GT over there in the States, but the main difference is it having the helical LSD in it.
Okay.
Now,
And then we come to the late spec, which is like the 97, and that's when we had all the beams coming through, the projector headlights, the spitters, and the two-post with the razor blocks spoiler.
Cool.
all right. Now, I know you mentioned the E transmission and the early ones. Those are the E56 transmission, is that right?
Yep, the E56 C607C, which is the viscous LSD. In actual fact, the gearbox casing is the same gearbox casing as the GT4. It just doesn't have that extra part for the going to the rear wheel drives.
Yeah,
it's just got a black and like the E153.
Yeah, exactly. It's probably similar to like the E153 that's out here in the States. That's in a couple different Toyotas out here.
Does that have the longer gearing?
Yeah, the E53.
Yeah, it does. You can see in the one of the stickies actually that one of the members has put up, and it's got all the different sort of speeds versus RPM. You can see what sort of the gearings are like in those. So yeah, we're definitely worth to check it out.
Awesome.
That's good. I actually have seen that, but let me ask you, how has 6GC changed your life?
It's emptied my bank account.
Yeah, that happens to a lot of people. Yeah.
Yeah. My original goals was when I first got it was to get some cams, but I mean, as you can see, I still haven't sort of got those. I seem to have done everything else to it.
Yeah, but like you said, you've done a lot of the things. You've done the cold air box. I've seen that the whole start to finish on the cold air box you got. It's a cold air induction, kind of like blanks off or
yep.
Does the whole.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Like
yeah, I'll tell you, Rusty.
It's actually pretty nice.
You've done a great service on 6GC, and that's part of the reason why I wanted to have you on as well. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about being a moderator and some of the things that you've noticed since you've been a moderator, and what are your thoughts on being a moderator on 6GC? How long have you been a moderator?
I'm enjoying it quite a lot. I can't remember. Is it about a year or so? I think I've been on there being a moderator.
Okay.
Enjoy it quite a lot. It gives me a lot more freedom to update the sticky threads, which is good.
Yep. Yeah, that was one of the main things. One of the reasons why we wanted to get you as a moderator, and now that we do have you as a moderator, and you're allowed to have that extra control. I've really appreciated the updates that you've done to the site, and it really makes things a lot more streamlined, and they make a lot more sense now, and I really appreciate it. So thanks.
Yeah, thanks. Well, most of it actually comes from the members who are actually putting up the information. I'm just sort of there getting it in a nice sort of order for other members to find later on.
Yeah, for the guys that are going to listen to this, Rusty's one of the guys. He's the guy that is actually in control of all the sticky threads. So if you guys have a particular thread that you've created, a how-to or something, and you're looking to get it posted on 6GC and you think it should be stickied, a good idea would be to PM Rusty. Rusty can take care of a lot of those little issues like that. We don't have much control as far as changing names or things like that, but for stuff like adding stuff to the stickies and things like that, Rusty's a great resource. So that's what I would suggest.
Awesome.
What I'd also like to ask you a little bit about the GT4, just because that's not available in the U.S. and I have a lot of experience with the 3S GTE, the third gen and stuff. But you can talk a little bit more about the body and what I really like to get into a little bit real quick is the Super Strut suspension. So if you can, just give us a little bit of details about the Super Strut and your experiences with it.
I haven't actually had too much experience with it myself. I have been in TRD GT4.
Yep.
And I mean that was all specced up with pretty much everything out of the TRD catalog.
Awesome. Yep.
And like the power and the handling that had was just blows me away.
Awesome.
Really? So you would say the Super Strut is better than the McPherson with handling wise?
It's hard to sort of put down and sort of test, because you're sort of testing sort of two different things. You got one that came with LSD or one that came without LSD.
Yeah, that's true.
But it would definitely be good to if you can get two sort of equal models and get them on the track and just see how they go.
Yeah, that'd be real fun.
See them drive and just
If you had a choice, would you go all Super Strut or all McPherson with your setup right now?
I'm not too sure. Because what we have is like you guys in the States have sort of started to. Some members have started to swap over Super Strut. But we get quite a lot of drivers over here with their Levin's AE111s, and quite a few of them are actually swapping it out.
Huh. Interesting. Yeah, I remember reading something about Toyota when they were in the rallies actually switching back to the McPherson strut setup just because it was less maintenance and less wear and tear, and it was kind of easier to work on. So
yeah, exactly.
They mentioned the figure 8 joints that tend to wear and stuff like that, and that's one of the things that I have noticed on the boards is that those parts are kind of expensive to replace.
And kind of a bitch to replace the figure 8 of a GT4.
Yeah, interesting stuff, isn't it? It's it's cool.
So Rusty, I've never driven a 3S GE, the third gen, which is the obviously like the fourth gen is the beams, but the 3S GE, you know, the third gen 3S GE has the ACIS. Is that it?
Yep, and that stands for acoustic controlled induction system.
Really? So tell me about that. What exactly, you know? What is it? I don't have that in the States. We don't have that. Tell me about it.
Go on.
No. I've never had it. We don't have 3S GEs like that over here in the States, and I'm just curious about it. What does it help? Is it good, bad? You like it? You don't like it? Tell me about it.
It's got quite a good sort of points and a few bad points I've found. Some good points is it really flattens out that torque throughout the whole rev range, which is good. A couple of bad points is it gets heat soaked quite bad because it's sitting right above the head of the engine, and you're getting heat soaked from the engine bay.
Okay. Interesting. So that's I just want to say Vincent Doggy posted one time about that power deck spacer thing that they make.
Was it to eliminate it or just make it longer?
What is that? Do you know anything about that? Does that make a difference?
The goal behind that was to change like how much air in that extra chamber.
Okay.
But what I've sort of found out is it's basically trying to manipulate two runners, a long quick runner and a short runner and a long runner. Now you want to use the long runner for low RPM for getting good torque and stuff, but then you want to what's supposed to happen is swap over to the short runner for the high RPM.
Yep, that makes perfect sense as far as intake manifold design. That's right in line with all the research out there.
All right, so Rusty, let me ask you.
Yeah.
You're in New Zealand. You've have a lot of experience with some different celicas that we don't have in the U.S. here. So let me ask you, have you ever driven a GT4?
No. I never got the chance.
Never? Oh, come on, really?
Clint, who's the owner of the GT4. But maybe one day.
Okay, all right.
As we all are.
Yeah, I'm actually hoping myself, but I get the next best thing. I have the two-wheel drive GT4. It's like a GT2, but so let me ask you. Have you been to any meets out there? Car meets, Celica meets, things like that.
We have a few sort of local I used to go to when I was younger and stuff. It wasn't more of a sleeker meet like you guys have over there in Europe, where it's quite big, having like a big sleeker meet. But we do have performance shows and stuff, and that's where we first met up down in Palmerston North. Myself, TRD G4, and I think a couple of other members as well showed up.
Cool.
And we just had like a little talk and had a look at cars and went for a drive in this G4.
That's what it's all about.
That's what it's all about. So have you learned anything from any of the other GT4 guys? Have you learned anything from the guys at the meets? Have you learned anything from 6GC? Tell us about your experiences at the meets and about the guys you've met.
Just getting different ideas and just like different viewpoints on what to do.